A very warm good morning to one and all present here. I am very happy today that today I am given this chance to welcome all of you on this very occasion, that is the teaching of class 8 English textbook. So first of all, I welcome all of you on the very PowerPoint presentation here in respect of class 8 Honeydew textbook, and the name of the prose piece is This is Jodys Fawn. Next please. Next please. Let us see. First of all, I would like to ask you this very simple question. Is it right to kill animals to save human life? Do you know the word pet dog? Cats are pet, but in this story we are going to deal with a dog and its fawn. Actually, this is a story about a sentimental boy whose name is Jody, a very small boy who is very much emotional child in this chapter. And the most important of all in this chapter is the sentimentality of the boy. The boy who is very much worried about an animal, and he howsoever wants to save the life of an animal only because of one reason, and the reason is because he thinks that the animal who is left in the jungle, in the forest, his life is in a danger, and that's why the small boy Jody wants to save the life of the animal, the fawn, whose mother died, to save the life of Jody's father. Next please. All of you please have your attention here. In this next slide we have people kill the animal to protect themselves, which is not justified. In this story we are going to read about Jody, a very sympathetic to bring the fawn at home. Everyone knows that in this chapter Jody's father has been bitten by a rattlesnake, and to save the life of his father he killed the fawn's mother in the forest to draw out the poison from the boy's father's body, and in this way the life of the boy's father has been saved. But the most important of all to learn in this chapter is that how Jody becomes sentimental and emotional child to save the life of the fawn, because the fawn's mother has sacrificed the life of his own self to save the life of Jody's father. So in this slide, people kill the animal to protect themselves, which is not justified. In this very age, in this very advanced technology age, we human beings do not care for animals. By some or the other ways, we kill the animals, but we never think about the safety and security of these animals. We must have care and comfort as well as emotional attachment with these animals. And the most important learning outcome, the learning objective in this chapter is how the central character of Jody becomes emotional and sentimental to give a new way, a new life to the small animal which is known as the fawn. Let us see another slides which tell us more and more about this chapter, please. So this is Jody's Fawn. This is the name of this chapter. And in this story, Jody's father has been bitten by a rattlesnake. He quickly kills the dew and uses its heart and liver to draw out the poison. Jody wonders what will happen to the little fawn left without a mother. So this slide gives a direction to us towards the main central idea of the chapter. That means the Jody's father has been already bitten by a rattlesnake, and the life of the father is in danger. But the life is saved only by way of killing the fawn's mother, the dew. And now Jody is worried about the life of the small animal, the fawn, whose life is in danger. Who will take care of? Who will take care of this animal, the small animal? This is the question always coming into the mind of the small boy Jody, and that's why he becomes sentimental and he thinks about how to save the life of the small fawn. Moreover, if we see in this present era, we people never care much about the animal's life. We never pay much attention towards the life of these animals. But this lesson, this is Jodys Fawn. This lesson has the central idea that we must take care of the animals. Let us see and find how central idea is developed in this lesson and how the children learn this very much moral lesson from this chapter. And let us see another slide. Next, please. Yes. Now look at this slide. This slide is full of picturesque depiction of Jody and his father. Jody is looking very much worried about the animal, the fawn. See, Jody allowed his thoughts to drift back to the fawn. He could not keep it out of his mind. He had held it in his dreams in his arms. How are you feeling, Pa? Just fine, son. This is actually a brief discussion between Jody and his father. Actually, Jody wants to say something about the fawn to his own father, whose life is already saved by the fawn's mother, who was killed to draw out the poison from the father's body. And he talks to his father and he reminds him. He slipped from the table and went to his father's bedside. When he lay rest, his eyes were open and clean, but the people were still dark and dilated. The father, Jody's father, was already in bed, taking rest. And now Jody wants to say something. He wants to share his emotion, his feelings with his father. Let us see in the next slide, please. See this slide. He settled back to the room where his mother was about to pour coffee for everyone, but seeing Jody, she held the coffee pot in mid-air. Actually, Jody takes the permission of his father to bring back the fawn from the forest. But now, there is a question in the mind of Jody, whether his mother will accept this proposal or what. Whether the mother is going to allow the animal to bring back into his home. They are busy and the mother is pouring the coffee. If we read the dialogues, Pa says, I can go bring back the fawn. What kind of fawn? The fawn belonging to the dew we killed. We use the dew's liver to draw out the poison and save Papa. Well, for pity's sake, Pa says, it would be ungrateful to leave it to starve. That's right, ma'am. Nothing in this world comes quite free. The boy is right and his dad is right. This is the conversation that took place between the mother and Jody. Actually, Jody wants to inform the mother that his father has already given permission to bring back the animal from the forest, because he thinks that the animal should not be left out in the forest. It should not be left for being starved. It is the moral duty of Jody and the entire family to save now the life of the life of the animal who is left in the forest. Actually, the family, along with Jody, thinks that the fawn should not be left in the jungle. It should be taken care of. It is now the responsibility of the entire family to take care of and to look after the fawn. Let us see how this entire family gets busy into taking care of the fawn, how the fawn is brought home from the jungle. Let us see in the next slide, please. This is Jodys Fawn. He said, "How are you feeling, Papa?" Penny said, "Just fine. I'm proud of you, boy. You kept your heart and did what was needed." This is actually the slide in which we see that after bringing the fawn from the jungle to the home, the Papa, the father of Jody, becomes very happy because they have fulfilled their desire. They have fulfilled a very good task of taking care of the animal. Let us see another slide, please. See this slide. Jody went in the forest. Now this slide is giving us the information how Jody becomes successful in the task of bringing the fawn from the forest. Who are those people who are going to help this small boy Jody in bringing the Jody from the forest? Jody went in the forest with Melville to search fawn, but after some time Jody left Melville by saying that it will not be possible to find fawn on horse and he will prefer to search him by his feet. Taking the help of Melville and Mr. Doc Wilson, Jody tries to find out the small animal from the forest, but he thinks that only the horse is not going to become the helpful in this task. That's why Jody thinks that we have to walk on foot and find out on each and every corner of the forest, because it becomes the most important task of Jody at this very juncture. Let us see another slide, please. Look at this side. He stopped to rest and set the fawn down on its dangling legs. After taking some rest, he picked it up and carried it in front of him over his two arms. When Jody finds out the fawn, he takes him into his hands and begins to think how to save the life of the animal by taking care from all the sides while coming out of the dense bushes and plants of the forest. Let us see how these things take place. Another slide, please. See this slide. Jody went there where he had seen the forest. The fawn was not found there. He turned to the spot where the fawn had emerged and dropped on all fours, studying. Actually, Jody goes to the place where he had first time seen the fawn. But when he reaches there, he does not find it. And that's why now he is worried much about the fawn, and that's why he goes to that place where he first time found the animal on his four legs, how it was taking rest there. Let us see another slides, please. See this slide. Jody allowed his thoughts to drift back to the fawn. He had held it in his dreams in his arms, slipped from the table and went to his father's bed and said, "Penny, lay at rest." Next, please. But suddenly Jody found the fawn in front of him. This is the slide where we can say that Jody, after all, after making a lot of efforts and taking care of each and every corner in the forest, he tries to find out the fawn, and ultimately the fawn was in front of him. The fawn lifted his face to him. It turned its head with a wide, wandering motion and shook him through with the stare of its liquid eyes. It was quivering. It made no effort to move or run. Jody whispered, "It's me." This means that Jody, after all, finds out the fawn, and the fawn was in a very pathetic condition. And that's why, by looking this condition of the fawn, Jody becomes very much worried and begins to take much more and more care of this animal. Let us see how the journey from forest to the home comes into. Let us see another slide, please. Now look at this picturesque slide. This is the slide where we see that how Melville's horse, how these people are helpful. The Melville takes Jody. Jody mounted Melville's horse, and a conversation took place between Melville and Jody. And Jody is asking, "Do you think he's still there? We'll find him if he's alive. How do you know if it's a he?" Its spots are all in a line on a dew fawn. Passes the spots are every which way. Cut to the north, Melville. It was up here that Pa got bitten by the snake and killed the dew, and I saw the fawn. Actually, Melville and Jody are conversing with each other, and they are trying to find out, to make sure how it can be possible to find out the fawn, the animal, because that was the place where the Jody's papa, Jody's father, was bitten by the rattlesnake, and that's why possibly it may be found just in nearby places. How they made these efforts to find out the fawn? Let us see another slide, please. See, this is the slide where we can see when Jody finds out the fawn, how he begins to think about how to take care of, how to look after the fawn. And now Jody makes a plan, a very successful plan, how to bring the fawn by taking all the cares of the animal from the forest to the home. Look at the first line. So he held it out to the fawn, who smiled and then booted it. He saved it precariously from spilling over the floor. The fawn could make nothing of the milk in the world. This is the slide where how Jody takes care of the animal and how he provides the milk, how the animal takes the milk from the gourd. Let's see next slide, please. This is the slide where we can see that the path, the way from the forest to the home. His arms began to ache and he was forced to stop again. When he walked on, the fawn followed him at once. He allowed it to walk a little distance and picked it up again. The distance home was nothing. He could have walked all day and into the night, carrying it and watching it follow. Actually, while reaching to the home, Jody makes a plan and he leaves the fawn just off from the hands. And actually, Jody wants to see how the animal, the small fawn, walks on the four legs and how it comes up to the home. Next slide, please. Next, please. See this. When Jody brings the fawn at home, all the family members are very happy, especially the father of Jody becomes happy because the desire of the small boy Jody is now fulfilled, and they feel comfortable and they feel happy that they are going to take care of and to look after the small animal. But at the steps the fawn blocked and refused to climb them, so he picked it up and went to his father with the fawn clutched hard against him. And Jody, taking the small fawn into his hands, comes in front of his father who was lying in his bed. Papa says, I am very much happy and glad to find you here with the small fawn, and our own family, the entire family is going to take care of this animal because we have the moral, we have the duty, the moral duty to take care of this animal because the sacrifice of the mother of the fawn should not go in vain, and that's why they feel it to be a responsibility of taking care of and looking after the life of the small fawn. Next, please. Look at this slide. It is very interesting to see in this slide. If I would like to read a few lines in this slide. As they passed the abandoned clearing, Jody gave himself over to thoughts of the fawn. Suddenly, Jody was unwilling to have Melville with him. This is the slide in which we come to know that how Jody, along with Melville, with the horse, they were very much confused in the forest area where they were trying to find out the small fawn, but they were unable to easily find out it. And that's why they are trying to go here and there from one corner to another corner, from one place to another place to search the fawn. Next slide, please. See this slide. Movement directly in front of him startled him. These are the few examples in which how Jody becomes more and more attentive, and we can say that worried about the life of the small fawn. He is very much interested, very much worried about finding the fawn in the jungle, in the forest. Here I would like to say that Jody, who becomes very much sentimental, very much emotional child towards the life of the small animal, and the reason is already known to you, because when one gives a sacrifice to sacrifice for another person, then it is our own moral duty, our own sensibility to save the life of the rest of the animal, the rest of the person who is already in relation to the person who has sacrificed his life for ours. Next, please. So, in the end, I am very much thankful to you today in this very interesting chapter. This is Jodys Fawn. We have got the central idea, the central theme of this story, in which all of you have learnt that if any person or if any animal gives a sacrifice of his life for ours, it becomes our moral duty, it becomes our own effort to save the life of the concerned animal. In this age, I would like to say that in this age it is very essential to take care of the animals. In this age, people who are very much learned, they never care for the animals. We don't pay much attention towards the leftovers, the non-human beings. Animals are non-human beings, and that's why we never care for them. But this chapter, this is Jodys Fawn, whose central idea, the central theme of the chapter is to take care of animals. And the learning outcome, the learning point is only that we must take care of the animals. We should pay attention to other areas also, as the incident that took place in the life of Jody, and Jody is the one who becomes successful in paying the 100% attention to that animal whose mother has sacrificed her life for saving the life of Jody's father. And at last, but not the least, I am thankful to all of you who gave me this chance and listened my lecture on this very PowerPoint presentation, and I hope that you will succeed in your life. You will succeed in making your own efforts to understand the chapter better and better by going through the questions and answers. Thank you, and thank you very much.